Well, hello again, everyone, and welcome to our latest webcast that we're bringing you from Travel Weekly as part of our Roadmap to Recovery series. And today is a very special day. It is National Travel Agents Day. And so I'm joined by three very important people. I've got Matt Eadie, who's from Intrepid Travel, which are spearheading National Travel Agents Day in the UK. Sam Robinson, who is formerly from Monarch and Funway Holidays and has been a beneficiary in the past from Abta LifeLine, which is the chosen charity that we're going to be supporting as an industry as part of National Travel Agents Day. And so Trudie Clements is here from Abta LifeLine. So we're going to talk to you all, but I'm going to start with you, Matt, if I may, because I understand it was your idea to bring National Travel Agents Day to the UK, and it's now in its second year, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I'm really, really excited as well. Last year was fantastic. You know, the whole day was created to really show our appreciation to travel agents and bring the whole industry together to, you know, acknowledge all the hard work that travel agents do. And last year was a huge success. And I'll be honest, I thought by this time, you know, this year we would be moving well out of the pandemic, but we're still here. But we still want National Travel Agent Day to be, you know, a recognised day every single year, because we all know travel agents are the backbone. They've been through so much over the last 16, 17 months that, you know, I think they need a recognised day for the hard work and you know, all the efforts that they do for the travel industry.
Yeah, you're not wrong. They absolutely do. And in fact, it's because of what everyone's been through in the last 18 months that you're putting quite a focus this year for this day on raising money and trying to support agents. So not just celebrating them because they have done a great job, but we also want to help them. And tell us a little bit about that.
For sure. So so this year we'll be supporting Abta LifeLine and also the Irish, I always get this wrong, the ITAA Benevolent Fund. I have to have it written down next to me because it's a bit of a tongue twister. But we're supporting these two fantastic charities. I won't take too much away from Trudie, but you know, the reason that I came, you know, when we came up with the idea was because I was on the phone every single day to travel agents in tears. You know, they were going through so much hardship. I had travel agents that, you know, had been working with lifelong friends and lifelong travel colleagues, and they were having to make them redundant. They were having to make really hard decisions that were impacting other people's lives, and they were absolutely heartbroken. Businesses that have been running for decades, family-run businesses, were struggling. And it was just crazy. Just travel agents were working longer hours, working harder than they ever had before, but no money was coming into the business. It was all to offer their clients service and, you know, rebook and refund. And, you know, I'd like to think we've moved on a little bit from all the chaos, but it's still very much present. And, you know, so that's kind of why we came up with the idea. But this year to you know, we're still speaking to travel agents that are going through such hard times, and to work with charities like Abta LifeLine, who do such an amazing work supporting travel agents. And, you know, it's just really pivotal in what we wanted to do and build that awareness as well, because there's no shame in asking for help. It is been the toughest time for us all, and I think so many travel agents that are going through it. So I mean, some of the fundraising we've got Intrepid are doing, we've got a 24-hour round the world cycling thing that we're running, and don't worry, I'm not going to be cycling for 24 hours in this heat, because I, you know, would definitely be struggling. But we've got offices all around the world at Intrepid for our DMC network of sales offices. So we've got people in South America, North America, throughout Europe, cycling each hour of the over 24 hours to raise money. I know ATAS are doing some fantastic work with their virtual Monopoly board. I think, Lucy, you're getting involved in that tomorrow, I think.
Yeah. I think everyone's got to walk one of the distances that would be real life off the Monopoly board. So you'd be walking from one street in London to the next. And so it all equates to a number of miles, and you've got to just pick a distance. And I'm walking first thing tomorrow morning before it gets too hot. I think I'm doing about 8K. I don't know what that is in miles. Someone will tell me. But yeah, so we're all doing our bit.
Yeah, all pitching in. And I know Abta are doing a holiday dress challenge, I think, as well. So, you know, just lots of fun ways to raise some money, but obviously build awareness for this fantastic cause, and, you know, really supporting agents.
Okay. All right. Well, you mentioned there the tough time agents have had. Let's bring you in, Trudie, because Matt also said you do this incredible work, and you do that all the time. But this year must have been particularly hard. And I imagine you've had probably more requests for your health than normal.
I have to say, we haven't really stopped since Thomas Cook collapsed back in September 2019. We kind of started getting through that, and then we went straight into the pandemic. So yeah, it's really heartbreaking to see what is happening to our community, and doesn't seem that there's much end in sight for some. So we're certainly seeing an increase in demand for requests, people that are struggling with their utility bills, their rent, their mortgage payments, people struggling with their mental health, even putting food on the table. So yeah, it's a desperate time for so many people, and we're doing what we can to support those that are really vulnerable right now.
Okay. And in terms of, the activities that people can do, Trudie, I mean, anything goes, doesn't it? You just want anyone to get involved, raise awareness. I mean, we're all aware of how difficult it is, but there are some people absolutely on the brink. So any money can help, because you're being asked for all sorts of things, aren't you?
Yeah, I always say that every penny really counts. Whether you can give £1, £2, £10, all those pounds added up will make a significant difference. And, part of the day is a celebration, isn't it, as well? So celebrate, have some fun, raise a bit of money, and unite with us to, as we always say, travel cares, let's help those in the industry that are really struggling. And it would make a big difference to us right now, because we'll be able to extend our reach even further and support more. So yeah, please do get involved. And your cakes looked amazing yesterday.
Yeah, we also, so I should just mention Travel Weekly, we did a bake sale. We all made cakes, but we made far too many for the number of people that are currently back in offices. That's one of the hardest things actually in terms of fundraising. I know you're doing your virtual cycle, Matt, but offices aren't all back together again at the moment. We're starting to come back at Travel Weekly, but not everybody is there, so we didn't really have enough people to buy the number of cakes that we made, but we made a little bit of money for the charity.
I have
Go on.
I said I have offered that Intrepid will probably give those cakes a good home after our cycling. So
oh yeah, we'll have to send them down to you. Sam, let's bring you in. So Sam, it's slightly different situation. So Sam has been helped by Abta LifeLine, but not because of the pandemic. But I wanted to talk to you, Sam, anyway, because it'd be great to hear how important Abta LifeLine were for you in your specific circumstances. So I don't know if you want to just tell us a little bit about your story.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. So I have previously worked in the travel industry, obviously. You mentioned at the start that I worked for Monarch and I worked for Funway, and I worked for them in a marketing capacity. About 20 months ago, my wife was sadly diagnosed with incurable breast cancer. It spread from a primary breast cancer and metastasized, is the word they used, into her bones. And I actually reached out to Abta LifeLine. It was about a month before she eventually passed away, because I'd just been made redundant. That was from a job that I'd moved to just outside of the travel industry, because the demands of my wife's needs at the time meant that I couldn't be in a senior marketing role in the travel industry for a while, because I needed to be there for treatment, and we have a young daughter, so I needed to be there for childcare reasons and things like that. And so I'd reached out to Abta LifeLine after I was made redundant to say, look, I'm really struggling now because I've been made redundant. I've got a wife who's terminally ill and a 3-year-old, and very little resources in order to keep the roof over our head and the foods in our tummy. And I'd started a conversation with Trudie and the team at Abta LifeLine. And it's funny, when you spoke about awareness and we were talking about that from a fundraising perspective, I actually thought about the other side of that, which is none of us know what we don't know, right? And I didn't even know that Abta LifeLine was a thing until I needed it. And so that awareness is also really, really good for people that might be in need and don't know where they can turn. Sadly, a month after I first engaged with Trudie, my wife passed away. That was about 11 months ago now. And so now I was faced with an even bigger challenge, and adjusting to life with no work, but having to solo parent, run a home and deal with grief and bereavement and all of the mental health impacts that came with. And Trudie and the team were fantastic. The biggest thing that they did for me was straight away said, right, well, there are certain things we can do that you won't have to worry about. And most of that was financial. So they contributed towards my wife's funeral. and dealt directly with the funeral directors, and made that a really seamless process for me. I didn't have to worry about that. I just had to go and make the arrangements, and to the amount that was agreed with Abta LifeLine, they dealt directly with the funeral directors, and then they supported me by giving me supermarket vouchers for a period of time on a monthly basis, so that I knew that that was one less thing that I had to worry about, and Molly and I were going to be fed for however long we needed to be fed for. And again, those little things were, when you're dealing with anxiety and overwhelm, it's the little things that bother you the most, the little things that just rush to the front of your head, and you can't really get away from that priority. And having that support from Abta and Abta LifeLine, and not knowing that I didn't need to worry about those things was incredibly helpful. Outside of that, I was fortunate that I was getting support, counselling support and so on and so forth from the local hospice, so I didn't need any additional support outside of that, but I knew it was there and available to me. And there are so many other things that they can support with, but for me, at a time when I was sort of on my knees and really struggling, they came in with some really, really vital bits of support that just took away a couple of the pressures and lightened my load a bit at a time when the world felt like it was incredibly heavy. So I'm very grateful, and the work that they do is incredible. And having seen the way that the world's been for the last 18 months, I can see how many people in the travel industry are going to need that support. And so the fact that you're able to do something to raise awareness and help raise funds is incredible, to help people like myself who felt like I had nowhere to turn, and Abta LifeLine was that place.
Sam, you mentioned there that you didn't know about Abta LifeLine until you needed it. Did somebody just, did you connect with Trudie then? Did someone just advise you or tell you about it? How did that come about?
Yeah, so there was a lovely lady at Funway called Linda, who was our sort of legal and customer servicey type person there, and she'd found out about my situation, and put in a call to Trudie and the team for me on my behalf, and said, look, there's a chap, Sam, he worked for us last year and he's having a really horrendous time, and connected Trudie and I. And I didn't know what the situation was. I didn't know what support would be available, wouldn't be available. I just sort of said, thank you, let's see where it goes. And it ended up being really crucial for me at a very difficult time.
Yeah, absolutely. And Trudie, that Sam mentions there that the help that he received was financial primarily, but that you do help a lot with other things, maybe counselling, and there's been a lot. People will be struggling to pay bills, but it is that anxiety. And I've spoken to lots of people, and you're aware we had one of these webcasts some time ago where we had people really, really desperate, I would say, and needing to talk to people. So that you do offer all sorts of things, don't you? And Sam's is a very specific situation, but you would help anybody, wouldn't you?
Oh, absolutely. And I think the important thing to say is that it's not one size fits all. We look at each individual case on its merit. We give it the duty of care that it needs, and we try and see how best we can help them. So yeah, absolutely. Whether somebody thinks it's just a small issue that they've got that they need help with, to some of the larger issues, we will always look at it and see what we can do to support. So give you an example we have coming up. Obviously the schools have just broken up, but we know coming into September there might be travel agents out there that are worrying about school shoes or school uniform, or maybe some IT equipment. We're happy to look at whatever their needs are. And we have funded in the past people's transport to hospital, for example, for appointments. Anything that we can do, we will look at, within reason, obviously, or contribute where we can. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned school there, and we must just mention that Sam's daughter Molly is going to be starting at primary school in September. How's she doing, Sam? Is she excited about going to school?
She is. She's such a social butterfly, as Molly, and she's built for school. She's very excited. She's been trying on her uniform, and she's been to meet her teacher and all of those sorts of things. And it's like I said to you earlier, it almost doesn't seem possible that my little girl could be nearly 5 already and going into the big world of primary school. It's very.
It's a milestone. It's a big step. But of course, with her going into full-time education, it will give you a little bit more time. And we should mention that you've started a new business. So I don't want people to think, Abta's help was fantastic. And as you say, that took away one worry and allowed you to focus on other things. And so you have a fantastic marketing consultancy that you've set up, and it's doing really well, isn't it?
Yeah, no, that's right. So, at that time, not having to worry about some of those financial elements just allowed me to not have to rush back into a work environment. And I spoke to you before we started the recording about how it's been really important for me. I talk about this thing called parent availability. Molly's already lost 50% of her parent availability when Lauren died. So my goal is to try and give her more of my time.
Yeah,
and the only way I can do that is by being in control of my work environment. And that means working for myself. So yeah, about 4 months ago, I set up a marketing consultancy, and it's been going very well. And I've been very fortunate. I've got some good clients so far, and always willing to talk to people about their marketing needs. So
absolutely. Let's anyone there with marketing needs in the travel industry who's watching this, then obviously do give Sam a call. And if you don't know his number, you can get it from us at Travel Weekly or from Trudie at Abta LifeLine. We will make sure we put you in touch. Sam, I'm sure it's really hard to talk about your story and Lauren and the effect on Molly and yourself, but and it's really brave of you to come on. But and we're really grateful actually, because I think it really shows people how you've benefited, and that they shouldn't be sort of nervous or embarrassed or whatever it might be.
Never be scared to ask for help.
Yeah. So I'm really, really grateful for that. Well, let's just finish with Matt then. It's a big day today, and you've got lots of support from other parts of the industry. We talked a little bit about what Abta and Trudie's dressing up in her holiday clothes, although she looks fairly summery today, to be honest, in this weather. I mean, it's not really going to be a different day, is it? Because it's so hot. But Matt, what are other companies doing? You've got lots of support, haven't you, across the board from other companies?
Yeah, 100%. We've got so many different operators doing different things, from increased agent discounts, exclusive offers, just trying to do some fun competitions on their social pages. So, I'd really encourage agents to reach out to different operators, check out on their social pages what they're doing. It's quite, obviously coming from Sam, it's lots of hardship out there, but tomorrow is well about celebrating the hard work that everybody's done. And just reach out. For example, Intrepid, we've got some really fun things going on our Intrepid Loves Agents Facebook page. We've got the very first fam trip in September. I think it's the first fam trip.
And people can win a place on that, can't they?
Yeah, we've got 10 places altogether to give away. And kind of what Sam touched on, that mental health side. I think every travel agent needs a holiday, needs a break. So we've actually called it I'm a Travel Agent, Get Me Out of Here. A little bit of a play on I'm a Celebrity. But don't worry, there won't be any bug eating or anything. Just it's in Cornwall, so Cornish pasties and a few beers at the coast. So, but it's really easy to enter. Just join the Intrepid Loves Agents Facebook group, and you can nominate an agent that's put a smile on your face, any reason, big or small, and just kind of nominate them for a place on the fam trip. And if you nominate them, the agent that nominates them also gets the chance to gets an entry as well, because every agent definitely needs a holiday. So
absolutely. Here. Well, listen, it wasn't probably the situation we expected to be in for year 2 of National Travel Agents Day. But it's probably even more important that we do mark this day and get behind it in every way we can. So I hope people will watch this and do something within their businesses or just individually and really support the cause. And then I'm sure we'll hopefully, fingers crossed, be in a better place for National Travel Agents Day next year. But for now, please thank you to Matt from Intrepid, to Sam. What's your marketing consultancy called, Sam?
Whole of the Moon Marketing Limited.
Whole of the Moon Marketing Limited. Sam Robinson. Everyone write that down. Should we say that again? Whole of the Moon Marketing Limited. I'm determined to get you some business now. And obviously, Trudie Clements. Your work is incredible, Trudie. So thank you so much.
Most welcome, and thank you.